What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today is April the 21st. I want to give you a quick pre-market update over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before I get into any of that though, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points, not a whole lot today. So it's going to be more linked to tariffs. And it looks like a lot of the broader market is very focused on Powell and how he isn't really reacting fast enough. So I think a lot of people are kind of siding with Trump. You did have the Pope, Francis, passed away. And it looks as though just a lot of individual things, all again somewhat linked to tariffs, is really affecting the broader market. That's kind of the moral of the story. And China stocks seem to be really moving up in accordance with this news right here. So should be a fun day today. Fear and greed index is still under the extreme fear category. So in theory, people's appetite for risk isn't necessarily on the table. Getting right to it, SoFi oddly is red. So in reality, during the overnight trading, you kind of saw the future starting to pull back, except for fintechs. For whatever reason, SoFi, Robinhood, and a couple others were really moving higher. In fact, I think SoFi did hit a high of $11.30. For whatever reason, there wasn't any news, just I think a certain level of FOMO, but as you can kind of see, now it is red. So very unfortunate how SoFi did lose that traction, but shorts aren't doing anything this morning. 12.91% of the free float. I don't really anticipate them to do all that much this or today, or let alone this week, unless something does change tariff related, or if SoFi does start to gain some traction by, let's say, this coming Friday. But some key points to really watch for with it at $10.85. It is trading right below this S1, so 10.91 will be that key point to really get over early on in the week if you're going to see any sort of kind of recovery and push higher. Flip side, 9.96 will be a strong support. So let me know your thoughts on that. MLGO is starting to get legs again, so it's starting to have a secondary run, piggybacking off of just the Chinese momentum. And so we've seen in the past, when this does go, it goes up like crazy. So in reality, you can definitely join the hype. I think this one should do fairly well, but then again, there isn't any news, no SEC filings to really justify any of it. But then again, same as this run, when it went from $2 to a high of roughly 27, there was really no news whatsoever during that time frame as well. But 25.5% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 2.07 million shares. So shorts have returned quite a lot. At its peak, it went to roughly 57% short interest, but still 25% is rather high, maybe enough to really prompt a little bit of a squeeze as well. So I'm sure they might be fairly active today. With it right now at 8.94, it is trading between this S2 and this S3, so 7.53 will be a strong support. Flip side, 11.17, 13.42, and then 17.06 will be the next strong target slash resistance points. So in my opinion, this stock has proven itself that it can really go up very fast. So S2, this 11.17, might be that next kind of target for today. So that would be a pretty good return on investment. So let me know your general thoughts on that, or is it too risky for you? What's your kind of viewpoint on that? Tesla. So Tesla is down. So you did have Daniel Ives recently go over Tesla and really say that, I think he called it code red, and that's just because Elon is very distracted. He's been kind of on and off distracted even prior to Trump taking presidency, but I think in general it's just now with Doge, he's so distracted that Tesla is just suffering, and I don't think he acknowledges it as much as consumers are really shouting it. So Daniel Ives caught on to it and did give a little bit more of a negative rating, and he's always been a very long-standing bull, so that's causing some volatility. 2.75% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 76.9 million shares. So this isn't a squeeze play, but shorts have definitely started to piggyback off of Elon's kind of being distracted. So it went from 2.14% to a high recently of 2.93. Again, it's not a squeeze play, but shorts are feeling a little bit more bold to increase. Some key points to watch for with it at 231. It is trading between these 2 points, so this pivot and this S1. So 226 will be a strong support, and then flip side 260 will be the next strong target. If this 226 doesn't hold, then 206 and then 173 will be the following support levels. Obviously, much of that won't be hit today, but just so you know, kind of bigger picture outside of today. But moving on from here though, ticker is SHFS. On Thursday, it did go up 16.15%, piggybacking off of that. So today it is up 82.06. So no news as of today. So no SEC filing. So it is just simply piggybacking off of that. As far as it being heavily shorted, it's virtually nil. So 0.56% at the free float is being shorted, works out to be 6,000 shares. So that won't really be that big of a deal for today. With it at 413 though, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 538 is going to be the next strong target. 410, which is slightly above it right now, is going to be a strong support. If that doesn't hold, then 331. So most likely, in my opinion, given the circumstances, it will get dragged down to this S1 to this S2. So just kind of be aware of that. But then again, I could be wrong. It could be gaining some good traction and moving to this pivot point right here of 538. So just be aware of that. And then ticker is AREB. So American Rebel Holdings. It is down 58.91%, piggybacking off of the negativity from Thursday. So they did put out a couple of things. So they did recently put out this S1, so 4.7 million shares. So not always the best. Market, especially during red days, does not like dilution. And I think a lot of stocks are going to be very heavily punished sooner rather than later by just its reliance on dilution. So this stock is going down because of that. They did put out news this morning though, clearly trying to distract investors based on this. I don't see this being good news, but they're just trying to, again, distract people from the bloodbath and what they did drop. So not the best. 8.56% at the free float is being shorted, works out to be 79,000 shares. So kind of what the market does like to squeeze is somewhat heavily shorted and a low float. But then again, if they are diluting, and I don't really know much about this company prior to what I just brought up, they could have a lot of convertible debt products, making these numbers very, very wrong. But again, just do your own due diligence. If you're looking at trading it though, with at 222, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 55 cents is going to be a strong support, and then 575 will be the next strong target. So most likely neither will be touched. And even just zooming into the 4 hour a little bit closer, 265 would be that next strong kind of target. So you might see a little bit of a recovery to that point, but the market is very red right now. So it'd be rather hard for it to do that. So let me know your thoughts on that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, appreciate all of you watching.